Live from the virtual Phoenix Raceway here in Avondale, Arizona. Welcome, sim racing fans, to the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series presented by Yokohama. You're watching the Apex Racing Team Feature Team Yokohama here on Apex Racing TV. I am Joshua Lee. I am joined by Dane Baird in the commentary booth with Mark Tranter controlling all of the cameras and overlays you are seeing on your stream. And Dane, 2 weekends, including this one, left in the championship. John and Johan for Team Yokohama lead the way, but Mitchell DeYoung is right there in third, looking to pounce on these guys here this week.
Absolutely, just 2 rounds to go. It's great to be here at Phoenix International Raceway, one of my favorite circuits on the iRX calendar, and it should be a fantastic race. Drivers are just getting underway in qualifying, but before we take a look at how everyone is doing, let's get a look at some championship standings. Perfect, as they come up on the screen, and like you just said, Josh, Team Yokohama 1-2 with Mitchell DeYoung just behind.
And that Team Yokohama bubble they've got up there at the top has helped them so much since they've had it. As Mitchell DeYoung had a couple bad races, he fell back. He won last week at Lucas Oil Raceway, which kind of projected him up into third and closer to that points lead. But it still is a 14-point gap in between him and John Robertson. And Johan Harth is a 7-point gap behind, a 7-point gap up to his teammate John Robertson. So these 3 are the main title contenders, but 2 of them being Team Yokohama drivers really shows how hard this team has been working all season.
Absolutely, and it's really the 3 teams that have been dominating so far in the first 7 rounds of the season. We've had Subaru Motorsports USA, Team Yokohama, of course, obviously with 1-2, and Set Esports as well, 4th and 5th in the championship for them. And they are currently 2nd in the team standings, but quite a considerable distance behind Team Yokohama. So lots of drivers in the series. Our very own Jake Robertson from Apex Racing Team for Ed Carpenter Racing is in the top 10. Remember, the top 10 drivers keep their seats for next year. So that is just as important as getting yourself up in the top, I believe, 8 drivers. Potentially get some pretty big prizes. I think I might be completely wrong there, and it might be quite a few more than that. But qualifying, the drivers mostly finished. You can see that most of the drivers have got a grayed out name on the left-hand side. And that means that they finished their qualifying session, they've retired back to the pit area, and they won't take any further part in the session. And we have a very worn track here at Phoenix as well.
Something I find interesting just doing the first look at the qualifying times. Obviously, DeYoung believes he still has a lap left, but you can see how slow his best lap is, currently a 37.97 for the Subaru Motorsports USA driver. Both of our Team Yokohama drivers, 8th and 9th, very close together, running a 34.05 and a 34.09. Harth still has a lap left that he can use, and we'll see if he is going to use it, as we have 40 seconds now remaining here in qualifying. You're looking at Alexi Heikkinen for Burton Kligerman Esports. I believe they are all finished with their lap times. Garrett Maines for Dreyer and Ryan going over the jump on a flying lap. Right into this tricky dirt section. You can see just how tricky it is as he messes it up slightly. He gets up on 2 wheels going through the long turn.
Absolutely, the track is so rubbered in at this point that the gravel or the dirt in these sections is worn down enough that you actually get more tarmac underneath the dirt than actual dirt. You can see there's a very worn line in the racing surface through that racing line that the drivers have been taking. And yeah, that means that there's a lot of grip there for the drivers to use. And unfortunately, in the long dirt right-hander at the end of this course, it very often ends in grip rolling the car, where you go sideways through a corner and you just roll the car because there's so much lateral grip through those tires. And the track has just been reset as we get ready to grid for heat number 1.
Now, as we take a look at this grid for heat number 1, on the pole is Tommy Hallman. 2nd, Allard Lemonsivu. Johan Harth will start in 3rd. Garrett Maines and Matt Busa, 4th and 5th. Jonathan Pyler, Apex Racing Team driver for Jim Beaver Esports, will start in 6th, with Mitchell DeYoung in 7th. And we just talked about the points. He is one of those contenders for this points championship. And him, John, and Johan all are not going to receive any points from qualifying. So they all still have the same amount of points as they had coming into today. And where De Jong finishes in this heat is going to be very interesting because you get points for the heat and you get points for the feature. If De Jong makes it into the feature, then he will receive guaranteed points there. But if not, this might be the only time he gets points today, which if John and Johan can continue their streak of feature race appearances, it is going to be crucial in this championship fight heading into the final round.
Absolutely. The two Team Yokohama drivers, John Robertson, has never missed a feature race so far. In the first 7 rounds, Johan Hart has only missed one, which I believe was back at round 5 at Hell-Lankabanen. But we have got 4 out of the 7 drivers on the grid for heat number 1. 3 Americans, 2 Frenchmen, and 2 Finns, which is pretty interesting. Lots of the same nationality of drivers, lots of Scandinavians, a couple of Americans as well. But we've got just a few seconds now. Everyone on the grid. We're getting ready to race.
You'll see those lights come on up as we get ready to go racing here from Phoenix for the first heat of the day. 1 red light, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are green for the first heat of the day. They all dive into turn number 1 for the first time. Johan Hart on the inside. He has a great slingshot. He's going to take the lead as they go through the asphalt for the first time. Does he take the Joker? Yes, he does.
A lot of drivers follow him in. That is Laminsavu, and I believe in the background is Booster. Everyone else decided not to take to the Joker on the first lap. Joker delta here around about 2.8 to 3 seconds. So that is what we're going to have to watch out for as Johan Hart leads to start lap number 2.
So Hart with a great slingshot as he currently holds the lead. Now our timing tower will update as drivers continue to work their way across the start-finish line. So Hart is leading. He is not currently in 7th. You can see behind him is Lemon Sivu and Matt Busa as they continue to now race through the dirt section for the first time. You can see that track reset in between qualifying in the race really proving crucial to how these drivers are racing, because you saw during qualifying, Dane, that they were getting so much traction off of tarmac in that dirt section.
Absolutely, but not anymore because that dirt section has been refreshed. Basically, you can see that worn-in line mostly gone. So you can see it's just, Johan Hart, a little bit of a touch to the tire barrier. That's not going to impede his progress too much. You can see much more sliding happening from the drivers now. Hart just missing the apex there for that final corner. And he's going to just about retain the lead. Garrett Maines took to the Joker there, and he's come out just behind. Johan Hart still leads. Next up is Tommy Holman, who has yet to take the Joker.
Maines so close now on his bumper. Hallman, De Jong, Pyler not coming down into the Joker lane yet. We're watching De Jong very closely to see what he does as the points come down to these final 2 rounds. But Johan Hart commanding this race with Maines right behind him. Just a beautiful line from Johan through the start section.
Absolutely. Getting nice and up onto the tarmac on the inside there. On the curbing and it's not really tarmac, more of a highly abrasive gravel. Tommy Holman setting the fastest lap of the race, gaining about 1/10 of a second on Johan Hart on that last lap. De Jong doing the same. It's going to be close between these drivers. Be careful as well over the jumps. We're going to see it, I reckon, a couple of times at least today. Drivers taking the jump a little bit too far, hitting the floor or back onto the racing surface as they land really hard. Let's see then, Hart, he's ahead of Mitchell De Jong. Crucial as they come across the line. Hart takes a spot in the feature.
Last lap Joker from Hallman gets him the win, but the top 2 make it into the Joker, so Hart will move on, and he's going to grab 7 points from this heat by finishing in 2nd. Mitchell De Jong finishing in 3rd. He'll have to race through the consolation race. He will receive 6 points. So now Johan Hart will tie his teammate John Robertson in the provisional points with 145. Mitchell De Jong falling slightly behind on 137. So we get started for heat number 2. No Team Yokohama or Apex Racing team drivers in this one. Johnny Olikainen will start on the pole. Vicente Salas in second. Third, Killian Delolmo. Fourth, Bobby Zelensky. Fifth, Marcos Matamoros. Sixth, Connor Parisi. And seventh, Henrik Krogstad. Now, Dane, with nobody from Apex Racing team or Team Yokohama in this heat, who really are you watching to be a surprise here and possibly grab a heat number 2 win?
I wouldn't say it's so much of a surprise as the pole sitter for this heat, Joni Olikainen, obviously won the pro qualifier race that we had here back in season 3 of 2020 in iRacing terms. And yeah, he was the driver who took the win in pro qualifiers. I would expect him to do the same here in the heats, but don't count out any of the other drivers as the lights are on.
Underway now for heat number 2 of the day. They dive into the first corner, still 3 wide behind. You can see Zelensky in the middle trying to thread the needle. He's going to make contact with Salas. He also makes contact with another car. That was the set Esports car. I believe that was Krogstad, or was it Matamoros in the back?
Matamoros was involved in that one, but it was, oh dear, Connor Parisi messes up the jump. He's into the tire barriers on the outside, and he took a hard right-hand turn there. You can see all the way in the background, he is going to finish this heat race in a last position for sure. But the driver, the set Esports driver, was Killian Delolmo that was involved in that incident. So really unfortunate for him as the drivers start lap number 2 of 5 here for heat number 2.
Salas currently in 4th. He's going to take now to the Joker in his VW Beetle for Andretti Autosport. We'll see where he's going to come out. Provisionally going to come out in 2nd. We'll see if he can hold that. You just saw Olikainen making his way through the dirt section. Now, where will Salas come out? Will he come out in front of Bobby Zelensky? They're going to be side by side, and he will come out in front of Zelensky. He's going to fall down to 3rd as Salas takes over that 2nd transfer spot. And with everybody else up here in the front, all have taken their Joker lane. I don't think Delolmo is going to have enough opportunity to overtake anybody really in this fight by using the Joker lane, Dane, because of that Joker lane delta. Absolutely.
It depends how much they hold each other up, though. Of course, like I just said, oh, look at that, a little bit wide for Bobby Zelensky. That was not the line he wanted. A little bit of a lock up in the dirt as well. Krogstad sends one up the inside. They're still side by side, bit of door banging as well. Krogstad hopping over the curbs. That is a beautiful move from Krogstad to move himself up into 3rd. He has now got 2 laps to try and catch Salas ahead.
Beautiful move from Krogstad. Will he be able to catch Salas and make his way into the feature race? You're currently on board with the Hanson Williams Esports machine for the number 11, going through the dirt section, up and over the jump once again. You can see just how crucial that jump landing is to get a good run. Here it comes on Salas. A nudge, he's gonna spin him out.
The way around, that's not what you want to be doing. And Zelensky seeing this as an opportunity. All 3 drivers getting into each other. Delolmo still hasn't taken to the Joker, although he is very far behind. Actually, he just did take it to it. I think he lost a bit more time over the last few laps. However, there is Mr. Marcos Matamoros, who hasn't taken to the Joker. He could take all 3 of these drivers now. In the last lap, he's going to dive to the left-hand side to the Joker. Let's see where he comes out.
This could be crucial. Can he overtake Salas? Timing says he might. There goes Joni Olikainen. Will he be able to get a feature race bid? Yes, he will. Completely open track in front of him. Marcos Matamoros will make his way into the feature race for Burton Klingerman Esports along with Olikainen.
Absolutely perfect for Marcos Matamoros there. He did everything he needed to, setting consistently quick lap times. And he just had to count on that little bit of luck. Like I said, these guys hold each other up. Salas, Zelensky, and Krogstad. Krogstad, the big loser there, trying to get up into 2nd. Ends up down in 5th as confirmation of the results are on the screen. And we get ready straight into heat number 3. There's the grid. Once again, no Apex Racing team drivers.
Heikkinen will start on the pole. Luke Kraus in 2nd. Tommy Makin in 3rd. Adria Perez in 4th. Rasmus Tuomanen in 5th with Danny Matrani for Nitro Circus, rounding out 6 cars taking to the green flag here in the third heat of the day. We got one more heat coming up after this, and that is where we are going to see the remaining of our Team Yokohama and Apex Racing Team drivers. I believe John Robertson will be in that heat for Team Yokohama, and that is going to be a crucial heat for him because he saw what Johan and Mitchell did in heat number 1. Now he's going to need to try and get as many points as he can during heat number 4. So that definitely is going to be the main heat to watch here today. But everybody on the grid now getting ready to go green for heat number 3. The lights come up. And just as quickly as they go on, they're going to go out a slight jump maybe from the 22 of Tuomanen. He moved slightly forward there before that green light went out. Oh, look at the dive from Adria Perez, Apex Racing Academy driver, but one goes around, that's Makinen. Makinen around, so is Tuomanen, and Luke Kraus going to take this opportunity to lead the field through the dirt section. I believe there's a couple cars down through the Joker lane. Yes, there is. Perez, one of them. Perez looks to be maybe the only one. He's going to go side by side with Kraus, and he's going to take the lead.
Absolutely. Danny Mitrani looking to do the same. Down in towards turn number 1. Kraus really deep on the brakes there and loses quite a bit of time, does the Canadian. Meanwhile, Alexi Heikkinen took to the Joker, and he is loving life out at the top. At the moment, Kraus just took to the Joker, I believe. You can see just in the background of the shot. There he did. And he's going to leapfrog both Danny Mitrani and Adria Perez. I would expect Mitrani to take to the Joker on his next lap. He doesn't want to be held up too much by Perez ahead of him. He wants to try and get back out ahead of Kraus if at all possible. So I would expect Mitrani to now head down to the Joker. And there he goes.
Heikkinen got a really great start off of the jump here. Took the Joker lane first lap, and he's loving life right now. 2 seconds out in front. Let's see where Mitrani is going to come out. Can he secure himself a spot in the feature here on lap 3? Clear track in front of him, and yes, he does. He has some pressure from Luke Kraus behind, but you can see that gap definitely more substantial, and that is what Danny Mitrani wanted, not what Luke Kraus wanted as he tries to fight for the feature race spot. But Danny Mitrani currently holding that spot, and he's going to try and defend it in 2 laps.
Absolutely doing everything he needs to do. Rasmus Tuomanen all the way down in 6th. He's going to end up right near the back of one of those consolation races that we're going to have in just a few minutes' time. Luke Kraus then riding on board with the Lowenboro Motorsports driver. And he starts lap 5 of 5. Looking ahead at Danny Mitrani. Big lockup for Mitrani. Bit of a handbrake movement as well, trying to get the car rotated. He really went in deep there. Luckily for him, Kraus was just too far behind to make any kind of move because of it.
Through the dirt section for the final time. Will Kraus have anything for Mitrani? Doesn't look like he will, as it is almost flat out to the finish from there. Heikkinen going to take the win here in heat number 3. Mitrani going to make his way into the feature race. A couple of surprise feature race moments from a couple drivers here in the iRX series this week.
Absolutely. Phoenix being one of the more interesting circuits. It's a very tight and technical circuit, and it's got a couple of gimmicks as well, some things that you really wouldn't expect to work very well, but they do. Heat 3 results on the screen. But yeah, Phoenix a very, very tricky circuit, especially the jump section. Basically, the entirety of the dirt section is pretty difficult. And yeah, it's a very difficult circuit to get the hang of. But lots of drivers heading into the consolation races. But now it's the Robertson show, and they'll be starting on the outside, I should say. John Robertson, I should say, will be starting in 2nd on the outside of row number 1. His brother Jake Robertson for Apex Racing Team will be starting in the middle of row number 2. Sindre Silva, Apex Racing Academy driver, will be on the outside of row 2 in 5th.
Garrett Lowe for Lowe and Bro Esports, or Lowe and Bro Motorsports, I should say, will round out the fourth heat worth of drivers in 6th place. And here we go. Lights are going to come on. We're going to get going here for the final heat of the day. Final opportunity for these drivers to make it into the feature. Can Robertson maximize his points and further his points lead up at the top? He goes to the outside of Josh Fox. He's going to go into second. A little bit of a nudge from the bumper. Now he's going to have the dominant line going through. Multiple cars hop into the Joker lane, including Jake Robertson, but John leads the cars, Toskinen and Silva, through the dirt section.
Absolutely, when you're on the outside line there, you really don't want to be stuck on the inside heading in through to the jump. That is asking for trouble, so as soon as you end up on the outside of turn 2, that is when you want to go in Joker. Meanwhile, Silva just behind gets past Toskinen.
Silva takes over 5th. John Robertson still protecting in 4th. A little bit of contact to Garrett Lowe. He got sideways. He was able to save it. Jake Robertson for the Apex Racing team, not phased behind. Here comes his brother, John Robertson. You just saw him in that camera shot. He is coming in 4th. Here comes Jake Robertson. He's looking for that second feature spot. Contact once again with Garrett Lowe. He's going to shove him up the track. But here comes John Robertson now side by side with Jake.
Absolutely up onto the tarmac. Jake's being left hung out to dry. Jake, big contact. That was with one of those blue turtle curves. He will have quite significant engine damage from that. That is exactly the opposite of what he needs. But John up into 4th then. Toskinen went to the Joker. John's going to go to the Joker now. And from what I've seen, I think John is going to come out in 1st ahead of Josh Fox. But Jake Robertson really hit that curb really hard, that blue curb, and it launched him into the air. The curb is quite high off of the racing surface, and he just hit the underneath of his car, and that really sent him high. You can see how much he's dropping back though. He's got engine damage from that. It hit the engine from underneath the car, and that is that's massively reducing his power. You can see still dropping back on the timing tower, but the opposite is true for his brother John Robertson, leading the heat. Can he make it to the feature? Just 1 lap to go then.
And this is going to be crucial in the points. You got 8 points for winning a heat race, 7 points for 2nd, 6 for 3rd, and so on, all the way down to the maximum amount of cars allowed in a single heat, which is 8. So John Robertson, if he wins this heat, obviously he's leading the way right now, so he would receive 8 points for this heat. Added on to his 145 would put him up to 153, which is just furthering his run up at the top, because both Johan and Mitchell received 7 and 6 points respectively. So Robertson, with this heat win here in heat number 4, not only is he going to the feature to compete for more points, he wins the heat, which means he gets 8 points towards the championship, and the points just keep working in Robertson's favor. A lot of hard work is still ahead as he now needs to prepare for the feature race, and then after that feature race, needs to prepare for next week.
Absolutely, confirmation of the results on the screen then. John winning the race with Josh Fox in 2nd, Toskinen 3rd, Sindri Silva in 4th for the Nitro Circus team, Garrett Lowe in 5th, and Jake Robertson for Apex Racing team with that damage down in 6th. It is now time then for the first of the 2 last chance qualifiers. This is going to be the C main, and the winner from this race will make it through to the feature. All other drivers will be eliminated. You do not get points for the C main. So this is just to see who will make it through to the feature, and it is Mitchell de Jong on pole position, in prime position to get that feature transfer spot.
So I'm doing the points calculation right now, and it was a 7-point gap in between Johan and John and Mitchell and Johan when going into this. Now it is an 8-point gap in between all of them. So 153 versus 145 is where John and Johan are. 145 versus 137 is where Johan and Mitchell are. Mitchell de Jong is in this consolation. Can he make the feature? We are underway, and they all dive into turn number 1.
De Jong in the wall. He's almost upside down, but he's dropping back through the field. Boost has turned around as well. He collects Sivu and Makinen in there as well. But crucially, De Jong down into 5th. Leminsevu takes to the Joker, as does, let's see, who have we got? Adria Perez, Garrett Maines, potentially Luke Kraus as well. But that is big for the championship. If De Jong misses another feature, that could be potentially game over for him.
And he is now so far down the order. You can see where he is. He's even behind Jonathan Pyler, Apex Racing Team driver for Jim Beaver Esports. You can see him right behind. De Jong didn't take to the Joker lane that first lap. That was the most shocking thing to me, is he thinks that he's confident enough to make his way through the field. But there he goes. Now he takes down into the Joker lane. He's aiming to come out in 3rd, in 2nd. I don't think he's going to overtake Adria Perez, and he might not overtake Garrett Maines.
Absolutely. Let's see where he comes out. He's going to come out side by side with Leminsevu, still side by side, just about manages to get ahead, but he's still on 3rd, and with 3 laps to go, he now has to make on-track passes if he wants to get into the feature. Everyone else ahead of him is also taken to the Joker.
And that is 2.5 seconds that he has to make up and pass 2 cars. That is going to be a true test for Mitchell de Jong. If he can do it, he gets a little cattywampus coming off of the jump. Here comes Leminsevu to try and grab 3rd once again.
Managed to hold on to that pretty nicely, but that was, who was that? That was Tuominen into the back, into the side of Leminsevu, half turns him around and gets past. If he doesn't give that position back, I am almost 100% sure that that's going to end up in some kind of post-race penalty. But de Jong taking a wide line in towards turn number 1, only losing time. He is 3 seconds back from where he needs to be to make it to the feature, and only 2 laps to go. Could it end up even worse for him as Pyler and Kraus head into the Joker? I think it might just have done it.
Now, you do not receive points for the consolation races, only qualifying, heats, and the feature, which means that if Mitchell de Jong does not make it into the feature race, which he is sitting in 3rd, 3 seconds back, 1 lap to go, he would end up at 137. And Johan and John are guaranteed points as they are both in the feature race. So not only is John Robertson and Johan Hart trying to run away with this championship, whether it's John or Johan, they're both in great spots for the championship right now. They're going to run away with the team championship as well. So I believe Zelensky is going to be racing out of consolation race number 2. But Perez with a great win here in the C-Main. He's going to take the win. Oh, Tuominen passed de Jong.
Tuominen took to the Joker on the last lap and overtook de Jong. So not only is he not going to make it to the feature, he's down in 4th at the end as well. Mäkinen, oh, he's just showing off a little bit. He's doing some donuts. There we go. Got a little bit loose out of the Joker. And that is some donuts to say, hey, I'm still enjoying myself.
Well, he crosses the finish line, which means that iRacing will reset over to the B main. Pyler, Apex Racing Team driver for Jim Beaver Esports, will finish in 5th. The main championship contender for Team Yokohama, Mitchell de Jong, finishes in 4th. And Adria Perez will move on to the next. We'll move on to the feature race as we move on to the next consolation race, the B main. Salas on pole, Otto Toskinen in 2nd. Bobby Zelensky, the other Subaru Motorsports USA driver, will start in 3rd, with Sindra Silva in 4th, Henrik Krogstad in 5th, Garrett Lowe 6th, Connor Parisi in 7th, Jake Robertson for Apex Racing Team in 8th, and Killian DeLalmo will start in 9th. So 9 cars here in the B main. We'll be watching Jake Robertson for Apex Racing Team to see if he can go from 8th to 1st and make a spot in the feature. Salas will be starting on the pole, though, with Toskinen and Zelensky behind him. It's going to be an interesting consolation race. A lot of fast drivers got put into this consolation, Dan.
Absolutely. And they are just about getting ready to go. The lights are on. You can see the drivers kicking back as they hit the throttle. Oh, it's almost 4 wide as they head in towards turn number 1. Taskinen trying to go all the way around the outside of Salas, but it is Salas who will lead out of turn number 1. Zelensky into the back of the Williams Esports driver. Sindre Silva all the way around the outside, up into third. He follows Taskinen into the Joker on lap number 1. Zelensky stuck on the outside. Robertson trying to make it down into the inside. Up into 7th he goes. Does he make the move stick? Yes, he does. As they come towards the final corner now, and to start lap number 2. Good start for Robertson, better start for Sindre Silva.
Man, what a start for Robertson and what a bad start for Zelensky. He fell, I believe, from 3rd where he started all the way down to 8th now. He still has that Joker lane to work with, so does Jake Robertson. Krogstad, Taskinen, Silva, Parisi have all taken down into the Joker. One more pops in, that was Killian DeLalmo.
The Set Esports driver taking to the Joker. Robertson with a fantastic line through there, up the inside of Garrett Lowe, a little bit of contact, pushing his way through, still side by side. Oh, and Lowe takes to the jump now.
Oh, contact!
Zelensky narrowly misses out on the timing column. Still side by side between Zelensky and Lowe, but crucially, Robertson is ahead. Up into 6th he goes. Is he going to take to the Joker now? No, he's not. He'll take to the dirt section instead, with the 2 drivers who still haven't jokered behind him. Oh, into the tyre barrier goes Jake Robertson. A little bit of damage to the front of that car as well now. Zelensky gets past, so does Garrett Lowe. Bit of a huge bump there into the side of him, and I can't help but wonder, is Robertson once again going to suffer some engine damage from that?
Robertson has 2 more laps to try and gain as many positions as he can. Salas running away with the lead to try and make it into the feature, but here comes Jake Robertson. Will he take the Joker lane this time by? Zelensky and Lowe both saving him for the final lap. So is Robertson. So these last 3 drivers will all take the Joker lane at the same time. They're within the Joker lane delta, I believe, to pass DeLalmo and maybe Parisi. Robertson might be able to get past DeLalmo at the least, but that depends on how DeLalmo takes his final lap, as we are on the white flag for the consolation.
Absolutely. And Zelensky, of course, next driver to have not jokered. He's about 5 seconds back from the lead, so it definitely does look like Salas has got this in the bag. But let's see now. Zelensky and Lowe up into the 3rd and 4th provisionally. They're going to drop down slightly. Zelensky, where's he gone? All the way to the outside. That's a terrible Joker for him. What's happened there? Sindre Silva with engine damage. He's going to be dropping back as well, 4 wide as they came towards the line. But Sindre Silva looks like they're trying to go 3 wide round the dirt section. That's never going to work out. But it is Salas who takes that transfer spot, and he will start 10th on the feature grid.
10 cars now ready to move into the feature. Salas wins with Taskinen, Zelensky, Parisi, DeLalmo, Lowe, Silva, Jake Robertson, and Krogstad rounding out the field for the B main. They're now in the warm-up for the feature race. We would like to thank a couple of our sponsors here on Apex Racing TV. First of them being Apex Racing Academy. They offer everything you need to improve your driving in the sim. Choose from 29 data packs with setups, track guides, weekly group coaching sessions, and more. Our own John Robertson and Johan Harth for Team Yokohama are both coaches on the Academy, and everything is integrated with Virtual Racing School, so head over to apexracingac.com to join today. We would now also like for you to see some messages from our sponsors, SDK Gaming and Virtual Racing School, but stay tuned because the feature race for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series presented by Yokohama is coming up right after this.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong,
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
and many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Raceway here in Avondale, Arizona for the iRX World Championship presented by Yokohama. It is time to grid up for the feature race here as we get ready to go racing. Both Team Yokohama drivers are in this one, starting 4th and 5th. Hallman will lead him to the green flag with Jani Alikainen in 2nd, Alexi Heikkinen in 3rd. 4th is our own John Robertson. 5th is our own Johan Hart. 6th, Marcos Matamores. 7th, Danny Matrani. 8th, Josh Fox. Adria Perez and Vicente Salas start in 9th and 10th as they both got in from the consolation races. Dane, this is the final feature race before the 1-week break before we head into the finale in Sonoma in 2 weeks' time. What are you expecting as they all dive into the turn number 1 for the first time here?
Johan Hart in 5th position. That is one of the better grid spots here at Phoenix. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. It just is. Every time someone starts in 5th, they seem to get a much better launch. So I'm expecting to see Johan Hart with his lightning starts that we've been seeing over the course of the season. I think he's going to fare pretty well at the start, although he will be on the outside, which isn't the best place to be if you can't get ahead of the people alongside you. So that could be interesting. A couple drivers gridded up so far. Drivers have been told to wait just a bit before they grid up. Track not as worn as we've seen it. They've only had 5 minutes of driving time, on the circuit. Of course, in that warm-up, the track was reset just before the warm-up. So the drivers are not going to be in 100% used to the conditions, but we are just about ready to race then. Everyone up on the grid, 10 cars, the largest grid we've seen all day, and the drivers are getting ready to go then. The lights will come on in just a moment's time, and then we'll be ready to race.
Set Esports starts ahead of Team Yokohama, the two main fighters in the team standings. But Robertson and Harth need both good point stays to take home the Drivers' World Championship. Let's go racing from Phoenix. It's Set versus Yokohama as they dive into turn number 1. They are 2 by 2 in the first couple of rows, 3 wide in the third row. Set Esports get their great start. They go out in front. Team Yokohama still side by side. One takes to the Joker. That's Harth. Robertson stays on the track.
Both Set Esports drivers taking to the Joker. Alexi Heikkinen, I believe it was in the background. No, it wasn't. That was Vincente Salas, I believe, in the background. Actually, no, it wasn't even that. It was off of the jump, but that's irrelevant now. Johan Harth coming out just behind the two Set Esports cars. A couple of other drivers took to the Joker as well, I believe. Let's see, who is that? That is Josh Fox and potentially Adria Perez. Yes, it is. Those two drivers, or those 5 drivers taking to the Joker, and then it's John Robertson just behind, who's got Danny Matrani for company. Who's that taking to the Joker? It looks like Matamoros.
We saw this same thing happen with Robertson during the heat that he was in, heat number 4, where he kind of waited so late to take the Joker lane, and he overtook everybody and ended up winning the heat. So I'm looking to see if it's going to be the same thing from him here, because it looks to be he's setting up the same way.
Absolutely. John's going to have to head into the Joker on this lap. He just got held up there a little bit by Alexi Heikkinen. That is really not ideal for him, and I don't think he's going to come out in front of this race. Let's see, where is he going to come out? I believe he's going to come out just ahead of his teammate Johan Harth with a bit of a run on Joni Olakainen, but it is Set Esports 1-2, Yokohama Advan 3 and 4. Harth sends one down the inside of his teammate. The two make contact. John keeping his position in 3rd. Johan Harth stays behind in 4th.
That dive from Johan Harth did not hurt them that much. They keep up their momentum. The bottom two, 9th and 10th, Matamoros and Salas, both have not taken the Joker lane. You can see one of them in there right now as they continue to race through in the regular race. Sorry, that was Danny Matrani actually coming down the Joker lane. He also did not use his Joker lane yet. There he goes, coming out behind Josh Fox in 6th. But now everybody up here in the front is all taking their Joker lanes. Still over halfway of this feature race to go. And John and Johan just trying to chase down these Set Esports drivers in front of them. They got 6 laps to try and gain as many positions off of them as they can.
Absolutely. 6 laps. This is the most number of laps we'll see in today's race, in today's event, of course. 10 laps for the feature, and we're about to start lap number 6. 5 to go here. Set Esports drivers looking very good, though, it must be said. John managing to keep up with them. I think Johan might have a little bit of damage. Possibly no visual damage, but oh, that's a send and a half from Danny Matrani on Josh Fox behind. And he makes the move stick. Up into 5th he goes.
Great move from Matrani and the Nitro Circus team. Harth over the jump once again. He's fallen off a little bit from his teammate John Robertson, but Robertson is closing in ever so slightly on Olakainen in front as they're going to come across the line this time by 4 laps to go. Robertson in full chase mode right now as Hallman and Olakainen run 1-2 for Set Esports, and you can see just how close together they're running. They're basically making a wall for John Robertson if he were to catch them.
Absolutely, the two Set Esports drivers running very close together. But John keeping them honest. He will really... Oh, look at that. Olakainen looked like he was trying to maybe have a look down the inside of his teammate there. Those two not holding formation. Olakainen wants the race win. And that was interesting, because if those two hold each other up a little bit more, it could allow Robertson to maybe try and make something of a move. 3 laps to go then. I think Robertson is just going to be too far back to get onto the top 2 steps of the podium for now, but we'll have to wait and see. Anything could still happen with 2 laps and 1 corner left in this race.
You can see Robinson working his way through the dirt section. Both set Esports drivers running very close together, and we'll see what Ollie Kynan is willing to do to take this race win if he wants this feature race win. But as of right now, 3rd place points for Robertson would be 10. That would put him at 163. His teammate Johan Harth in 4th would grab 8 points. That would put Johan at 153. So either way, compared to Mitchell de Jong, who currently is sitting in 3rd with 137, and that is where he would be finishing his points because he did not make the feature race. They're going to catapult them, and Tommy Hallman is the next one down. He was at 108 to start the day. I don't think he's going to be close enough to overtake Johan or John after this race. So the points are setting up very well for a kind of a cruise victory for Team Yokohama next week, or sorry, 2 weeks from now in Sonoma.
Absolutely, there's still a lot of work left to do though. White flag, of course, heading into the final section of corners. Johan Harth taking a lot of curb. He is a man on a mission. Unfortunately, that mission is only going to end in a 4th position for him. John Robertson finishes 3rd then. And that is a Team Yokohama 3-4 set Esports take a 1-2 for the first time of the season.
Great race for Team Yokohama as they come home 3rd and 4th. Great points day coming out of the feature race. There is your full results as Hallman takes the win. Ollie Kynan in 2nd, both set Esports drivers. Then Team Yokohama, Robertson and Harth 3rd and 4th. Josh Fox in 5th. Marcus Matamoros in 6th. 7th is Adria Perez. 8th, Danny Matrani. 9th, Alexi Heikkinen. And Vincente Salas rounds out the 10 cars who took the green light here in the feature race. We're going to have post-race interviews with both John Robertson and Johan Harth for Team Yokohama and preview the championship finale in 2 weeks from Sonoma. But right now, we're going to take a quick break, thank a couple of our sponsors, and then we'll be right back here on Apex Racing TV. So don't go anywhere. Interviews with your Team Yokohama drivers right after this.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome back to the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series presented by Yokohama. You're watching the Apex Racing team feature for Team Yokohama here on Apex Racing TV. There are the points. Now, here is the situation. John Robertson and Johan Hart both have a stranglehold right now on the top 2 spots. Hallman has overtaken De Jong with 137. The gap from Hallman to Robertson as of right now is 26. So depending on if Robertson gets into a heat with either 6 or 7 drivers, Robertson and Harth right now have all but clinched the championship for Team Yokohama. Just depends on who ends up in their heat come Sonoma. But, I mean, Dane, we can talk about it right now. Just what a year for Team Yokohama as, I mean, just a simple couple of positions gained in the heat, and they clinch next week in Sonoma.
Absolutely. It's been a great couple of weeks for Apex Racing team in general. Zach Campbell, of course, just qualifying for the Porsche Tagway Esports Super Cup in 2021. Peter Berriman just losing out on that due to a massive string of bad luck in the qualifying rounds for that series. But of course, Team Yokohama doing a fantastic job as well. And Jake Robertson as well, up in 10th. 3 Apex Racing team drivers in the top 10 of the standings heading into round 9 at Sonoma. One of which we have got waiting for an interview.
Dane, I'll let you go ahead and take that interview. Second place currently in the point standings. 4th place finish today. It's Johan Harth. See if we can grab him up here. Dane, go ahead and talk to Johan.
Well, Johan, welcome to the interview room. Not the best result today that you've had all season, but still very respectable to finish in 4th position. You did pretty well in your heats as well. Talk us through qualifying, which was pretty interesting this week.
Qualifying for sure was interesting this week with the track conditions. I didn't manage to put a good lap together, and well, that was still good enough for P8. But I think on my last lap I could have improved, but I don't know if you've seen it on the broadcast, but I flipped coming to the last corner. So yeah, could have been better, could have been worse. We needed to get points over Mitchell. We did it, so all things considered, that's a decent run for us.
Absolutely. Mitchell now, I believe, if our maths are correct, our quick maths we had to do during the ad break, Mitchell is now out of contention for the championship win. He can't win it, I believe, if our maths is correct. So Hallman has actually overtaken De Jong up into 3rd, and he is now the only other driver other than you and John who can still win the championship. It would be a long shot for him, but it is basically just you versus your teammate for the championship not next week, in 2 weeks, comes Sonoma, which is a track that we know you're very good at. You must be thinking you might have a pretty good chance heading into that final round in 2 weeks' time.
I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, I wish I got past John, to be fair. That's why I went for the dive in T1 right after he took the Joker, but yeah, I wish I got points over him and didn't lose an extra 3 points. So that's gonna be hard to recover. 10 points, that's quite a big gap.
Absolutely. And our producer, Mark Tranter, just telling us, wait, did he say he flipped? And what I think you mean is you literally rolled the car. You rolled the car in the final dirt section. Final dirt right-hander, yes. I saw you do that a couple times in practice. And basically what happened this week, for those who don't know, every week the track has been reset. The dirt surface was reset right before qualifying, so the drivers had a completely fresh track to start off with. And this week, they decided to switch things up a bit. iRacing decided, let's have a bit of a different qualifying session. And the 20 or so drivers, 26 drivers, I believe, that were in the session today, had 20 minutes of practice, and they were all running laps around the circuit. So the track was very worn, and so much so that the cars were actually grip rolling through the final corner. They had so much lateral grip running through the final corner that the cars just rolled over. I saw a couple of drivers doing it in practice, and you say that's what happened to you in qualifying, which is not very good. I saw a lot of drivers, Mitchell De Jong included, really not doing well in qualifying. It was also announced very late as well, I believe.
It was announced yesterday, yeah. So yeah, pretty late in the week considering we started practice on Sunday night. Yeah, I think that it's always good to shake things up, but I think that was a tiny bit too much this week. I think they're gonna air a few complaints to iRacing staff.
Absolutely. This is it was interesting to say the very least. And then when the heats eventually started, drivers getting caught out by the fresh track they weren't used to, as well, was a common theme today. Well, Johan, congrats on the decent finish today in the feature. Congrats on the good finish as well in your heat, and hopefully we will see you back in Sonoma in 2 weeks' time, and you might just be a champion.
I might just be a champion, yeah. It's gonna be hard, but we'll give it a try.
Absolutely, Johan. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck for 2 weeks' time.
Thank you.
Well, that was Johan Haas. It was great to hear from him, and really interesting, Josh. The title race, the title chase, has come right down to the final round as we expected it would. But it's mostly two drivers, with Tommy Holman having that very, very slight chance of taking the crown as well. But it's mostly just Team Yokohama.
Yeah, and just looking at the points, it is so close to being just a walk-off victory for Team Yokohama, but going into Sonoma, they are going to have to work a little bit harder. I mean, not saying the Team Yokohama guys are lazy at all. They've been some of the hardest working people all year long, and that just shows on the racetrack how they're both leading the points right now. But going into Sonoma, it's going to be sort of a race of just gaining points because they can technically clench the championship, not both team and driver, in qualifying, depending on where Tommy Hallman ends up in qualifying it, because the qualifying points stop at 6th. So if Hallman qualifies 7th or down, he loses the championship there, and Team Yokohama walks away with a guaranteed trophy.
Absolutely. It is potentially all wrapped up before we even hit to the feature. And it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be a really intense round for both John and Johan as well. Probably one of the more intense of the entire season. They've been fighting against the whole field before, but now the drivers that they've been working together with themselves, they are going to be battling against, which is going to be a very, very difficult for them, I think. They've been working together the entire season. We've seen a lot of help from each driver to the other. I don't think we're going to see any of that come Sonoma in 2 weeks' time. And we have got our championship leader ready for an interview. Joshua, take it away.
Well, John Robertson, just what a season so far and what a day here in Phoenix as we get him up here into the commentary box. John, welcome. Obviously a great day for you and just so close to clenching that championship, just a couple points separating you and the hardware right now. What is the strategy going over these last 2 weeks and then going into the finale in Sonoma?
Definitely going to be having some rest. It's been a very long championship, so I need a little bit of that. And then hopefully just a solid round. That's all I want.
We saw the Team Yokohama 1-2 in Atlanta earlier on in the season, but we also saw it at Sonoma. Does that give you more confidence going into to the finale race, knowing that it's a track that both you and Johan had success at just a couple weeks ago?
Yep, definitely. It's a track that's been really strong for us historically. We're not sure about the track conditions. If it's going to be as worn as this, then that might hamper us a little bit. But we'll just have to see going into that.
Now, it is a possible that you could clinch the championship for Team Yokohama in qualifying. By the way the points work, first place in qualifying gets 6 points, and the points end at 6th, with 7 getting 0 points. Does that kind of put you in a different mindset going into the race? Are you still going to focus on that feature and winning the feature, or are you going to focus on sort of making more of a hot lap in qualifying?
Just approach it like any other round. That's worked for me this whole season, so I don't think there's any reason to go into it with a different mindset. Obviously, in the feature, if I'm sitting in a position that's going to get me enough points, then I'm not going to push. But certainly for qualifying in the heat races, just go flat out.
Now we'll let you go get some rest as we have 2 weeks before the finale. Anyone else you would like to thank here on Apex Racing TV?
Yeah, I just want to thank Yokohama, SDK Gaming, Simputers, everyone at Apex, Snomis for spotting, and you guys for the broadcast.
Thank you very much. Sean Robertson, your points leader as we head into the finale in 2 weeks' time in Sonoma. Dane, what a day here in Phoenix. And as we get ready for the finale, Team Yokohama still sitting on top. What are your predictions as we head into the final round?
Hard racing, I think. I don't think that either of the two drivers are going to let up very easily. 10 points separating the two of them. Tommy Holman, of course, 26 behind. He can obviously still win the championship, but it's a long shot for him. So I think we're mainly going to focus on the two Team Yokohama drivers. And it's going to be hard racing between the two of them, definitely. We saw it a little bit today with Johan making a bit of a lunge down towards turn number 1, but I think we're going to see a lot more where that came from heading in towards the final round. It's a very interesting position to be in. We don't see it very often in sim racing, where you go into the final round of the season battling only with your teammate for the championship win. It's not something you see very often, so it's going to be interesting to watch.
Hallman still has a very slim chance, but like we said, very, very slim. So we're going into Sonoma with Team Yokohama on top, and a miracle needing for Team Yokohama not to be sitting on top of that championship come next week, or come 2 weeks' time. So make sure that you are here on Apex Racing TV to see the finale of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series presented by Yokohama. You have been watching the Apex Racing team feature for Team Yokohama, and Team Yokohama is heading into the finale on top. We're saying good night from Phoenix, from Dane Baird, Mark Tranter. I am Joshua Lee, and we'll see you in 2 weeks from Sonoma.